Board. Tonight is Tuesday, September 26th, 2023. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. So we'll start with, we have 3 sets of minutes. No, we're down 2 select board members tonight. Select board member Joe DiNardo and select board member Sharon Russell, neither able to make it. So what you see is what you get. Select board member Kurt Hathaway. I'm Mary Ashcroft. This is Matt Getty. Okay. Minutes. Do we have folks who were here?
First set I wasn't here for.
September 12th. So you weren't here for that one.
No.
All right, so we can't do that one.
September 12th again. I wasn't
Okay,
here.
so September 21st. Yeah, you were on a fire call, as I remember.
Yeah.
Where is the 21st? Here they are. It's on the desk. And you were here, and Matt was here, and I'm here. So let's
Move to
take.
approve.
Motion's been made to approve the September 21st minutes.
Second.
Motion's seconded. Any additions, deletions, corrections? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, any board member announcements? All right, update from the select board chair. I have a few things. One is we have a couple of milestones coming up and today. So happy birthday, Chief Dumas. And that's today. And happy birthday, Kurt Hathaway, tomorrow. So
Oh, it is tomorrow. Glad somebody remembered. Oops.
The Brits say many happy returns of the day. You don't look a day older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little less hair than last year.
Okay. So they're on your desk. I'll just deal with this now. There is a memorandum of decision from the District Environmental Commission. So you will recall that we thought we needed an Act 250 amendment to do the penstock work. We weren't doing it, but GMP was. Long story short, it turns out they didn't have to put in an amendment request because the Public Utility Commission, under the 248 process, had already ruled that there's no material change. So there is the memorandum of decision says we're going to allow the town of Rutland to withdraw its request for a permit amendment because they're preempted basically by the PUC. So that's all that is. You'll remember that GMP called in and we had some discussion about the trails and all of that, but PUC took jurisdiction, so that's done. Okay. This is the time in our meeting where if there are members of the public who are present, either in person, we'll start with the in-person folks, or on Zoom, if you're not otherwise on the agenda or you're not here to talk about other things on the agenda, that we would welcome your comments now at the beginning of the meeting. So anything on your minds today, folks?
Yeah, I'm here to discuss the hazardous change.
Okay, all right, why don't you come on up and okay. And just identify yourself, please.
Over here,
Yes, please.
Mark Constable, I live at 487 Grover Drive.
Mhm.
I realize we're probably wasting our time, but I feel like I gotta air my grievance.
Yes, please.
What I don't understand is for 50 years, this has been wrong and it hasn't been addressed. We've had 18, 20, 23 houses built, hasn't been addressed. It's been okay. It's worked. if you Google 487 Grover Drive right now, you can go right to my house. But I guess Bill, when he came aboard, looked for the high hanging fruit for what we should go after for what problems are in the 911 stuff. And that was like the top of the list. And I guess that's what initiated it. But again, because 4 of you guys, I guess it was, as a group, is that what it was
I
for?
think that's right, because I think we were missing a member
So
that
at-
night. Yeah.
This point,
Mhm.
50 years later, he just said, okay, now we're going to fix it. And it just doesn't make sense to me.
So you've not had any emergency services folks call to your house? And
No.
there's not been a problem with that?
Never.
What have you calculated what it would cost you to change the
Well, it was
address?
never going to be an issue, so why would I have?
Okay.
But it's just mind blowing to me that the 4 of you, and this isn't trying to be as calm as possible. It's amazing to me that 4 people would be in a room and say, we understand it's going to be a little bit of a problem for these people, but it's the right thing to do now. I mean, when each house was built, the wrong number was put on it, but we did it. So, I mean, if we did it for 50 years, why are we changing it now? And with all the technology we have, you can't tell me this formula you use makes any difference.
I will say that I have a problem at my end of town because we have a different postal address and that we use different zip codes, and that causes problems. So,
So shouldn't that be addressed as an individual basis?
and it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 18 of us on Grover Drive are affected.
Mhm.
Not sure how many people on Gleason Road, but it shocks me that 4 people can finally say, okay, it's been wrong all these years, but now's the time to fix it.
This
Well-
is not a 50-year problem, though.
Right.
My,
that's
my
right.
house was built
system.
50 years ago.
I understand, but the system was different than this E911 addressing system is much more recent,
Okay.
and as well as the connection of that circle on Grover Drive, which
Right.
is the main source of the problem in the numbering system. As I
Okay.
understand
So when this new system came in, how long has that been in place?
I can talk that. As a police officer, it went in probably in the 2000s, last 15, 20 years.
Okay.
And it was put in place so that law enforcement or EMS or fire department could find a location easier. And it's based off from how far you are from the main road. My address has changed 3 times. It went from 44 to 69, now to 525.
How much does it cost you each time?
Nothing. I just put a change in the, got it went online, changed.
Your deed doesn't affect your deed? Don't you change your
No,
deed?
no.
Hasn't cost you anything?
I haven't changed my deed or anything. I mean, the power company still has me at number 69, but I'm at 525, but they know where I am. And but it's more.
This is the point.
It's for emergency service.
Okay, in my case, you're talking 6, 481, 487.
Mhm.
A police officer, fire department, anything comes up the road. That difference of the number 6 isn't, you have to admit, as a police officer responding, that number doesn't mean it's minuscule.
It's like 30 feet.
It's 30 feet.
30
Because
feet
of-
is what it rec-
Does the fire
represents.
department
Yeah.
not go by what like Google says? Because when you
A
put
lot of
47,
times they'll just go by what the dispatcher tells us. It's house number, whatever. Some people don't even have house numbers. Then you're gonna go back to how far is it? We start checking
Yeah,
around.
so in our case,
But
the difference of 30 feet. In a lot of cases, it's a small difference, but I'm here,
Well,
talk
let me
about
just say that in our defense, I mean, we are more concerned about the public safety aspect. We want to make sure that our services can find you if there is a need. And hence, maybe you've got good, clear numbers. Maybe people know where you live because you've lived there so long, but that isn't the case with everybody else. And so we have to do what we think is best to make sure our first responders can get to you.
okay, again, maybe it wasn't 50 years because things changed.
Yeah.
but from what Ed said, we're 10 years, right?
Mhm.
And we've
Yeah.
built houses
There have been houses built,
And
and
we've
that's
given the
also
wrong-
part of the situation up
and
there.
they've given them the wrong numbers.
So, and I'm not gonna be around forever. And as new people come in, they don't know you or your house, they're just new people. They have no idea, they don't know where.
Well, I get that. I get
So
that.
they go by the numbers, and if they have an understanding how the E911 system works, they'll go, oh, it's here, it's gotta be that house there. Cause that's the distance, and that's how.
It just amazed me when we came back into town, saw that letter, and then I saw the number difference, and I'm like, 30 feet. And we have to go through a change. I just had a birthday, so I just renewed my license.
Yep.
But everything's happened over years. It seems like we don't have an awful lot of control. And then when I can see a handful of people can get in a room, and was there much discussion to the public for this? I mean, I remember reading something about something was going on, but I don't think we had any input because it was, I mean, you guys had, some of you feel
We
you don't
got,
have a choice.
we were told that the numbers were out of whack, so we asked Bill to get the information from the state, which included diagrams, and I think you probably saw them because I think we
Okay,
sent,
yes.
okay. So we would understand better how many folks were affected and why it was necessary for the change. So yes, we did. And so we didn't take action that meeting. We delayed until the next meeting. And we went over what had been sent to us. So we did take a look at
And
that.
I mean, I almost, for 30 feet, I almost could push back and say, well, are you sure you got your numbers right? I mean, 30 feet. I mean,
Yeah.
It's still gonna be on our lot.
it's
Yes, it
still
will.
right. It's
Yeah.
30 feet is
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
I first want to say thank Bill for taking my call and hearing me out. And
Mhm.
Joe did a good job hearing me out because I wasn't real happy when I got home and
Understand.
found this. And
Yeah.
I appreciate the chance to talk to you guys, but I'm just shocked that you can do that. And if you hadn't done it, what would have happened? People still would have found 487 Grover Drive.
Well, here's the thing, as the chief said, there are new people coming into our volunteer fire department, new police officers coming in. They're going to know less and less
But the
about where the
technology is
people
better
are.
and better every day.
The technology may be, but that gives us the distance from the intersections. So you've pinpointed exactly why we wanted to make sure we could use the technology
I guess I'm
adequately.
not, I guess
Yeah.
I'm really, I appreciate your time, but I guess I don't buy that guys have ever gone off the distance from the center line. When you respond to, I mean, you have,
We can go by house numbers. If the house numbers are confusing, then it's hard for us we gotta start knocking on doors to figure
yeah.
out where it's.
My point is, has anybody ever used the
So like
distance from the center line?
or at least I have used it in the fire department before to know how far we are from certain areas. So
Yeah, it's guesstimate work.
so we
It's like-
know the fire engine carries 1,500 feet of 5-inch hose, so we
Yeah.
know we can go so far
Yeah.
with those addresses. In terms of 30 feet, if Grover Drive is, obviously we're gonna have to relook at this, because if we're talking 30 feet and we're gonna be stirring up all these people, I don't see a point in this.
And we do have another letter.
You know,
on the- on
there
the-
might be some addresses that are more messed up than others.
Yeah.
I mean,
on
I would
Grover
think
Drive.
you'd do an individual, like if someone's off by a few hundred feet.
Yeah.
But when you're talking
But
30
which is
feet,
usually what we do.
well,
And
I'd
and
appreciate it
that's-
if you'd relook at it.
I think
I
a lot of this
appreciate
started
your
because
comments, so thank you.
Gleason Road's a little bit more.
Yeah, I can only speak for
Truly.
myself. I don't want to speak for anybody else, but
Okay,
okay. So you will take
I-
this under
I want
consideration
to revisit it.
and see my
Okay.
point. I mean, it's,
we appreciate that.
I definitely want to revisit it.
Okay.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Thank
We
you.
heard you. Anyone else who wishes to be heard on any topic that's not otherwise on our agenda for tonight? And I'm looking
Can you
at,
hear me?
would you like to say something?
Yes, yes, I would. This is
Yeah.
Seth Rutland, and I'm on Zoom.
Okay, hold on just a minute because we have somebody in as well here, okay?
Okay, thank you.
But it's painless, really. and identify yourself, please. And your address.
Well, I don't know my address though. My name's Pat Consolati
Hi.
and I live at 487 Grover Drive. I just like to address problem. We've been seeing a car parked down at the power station, almost
So you
daily.
guys are aware.
I noticed personally. I was going to bring
We're
it up
just
to the chief.
wondering if
when I
you
had a
guys
minute.
been, or they've been checked out or whatever.
Looks like somebody's
Are-
been living at the
are
power
they
house
allowed
in their
to?
car.
The power station.
Yeah, down at the power station. Yeah,
At the end of, Route 7 going out of town.
Yeah.
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 No village
Yeah.
powerhouse there.
He's been there probably
The
A
Subaru.
lot.
month maybe, and he
Okay.
usually sometimes backs into the bushes, or one time he was over on the side of the building,
It's a camper.
a car, and
It's a little
sometimes the doors
Subaru.
are open, and I run by there sometimes 6:30 in the morning or whatever. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Okay, so we'll
actually I was
take a
going to
look. Thank
mention
you very
that to
much.
Ed when
Yeah.
I had a minute. I
Okay.
had noticed that.
Now, let's see, Seth.
Yes.
Okay, identify yourself, please.
Hi, my name's Seth Richardson, 57 Grover Drive. I would also like to speak on the issue of the E91 addressing proposals. So I have almost 23 years in public safety, so I have a little bit more knowledge about the E91 system and how the numbers are established and the systems used for emergency personnel to find addresses. So I too received a letter, actually 2 letters from Mr. Sweet advising that my address was going to change. The first address, my primary residence at 57 Grover Drive to 65 Grover Drive, in my detached garage that's also on my property that doesn't have an address at 115 Grover Drive. So I was a little bit perplexed at the letter when it said that the E91 board requested these changes. Because of my public service, I know that the E91 board doesn't normally request address changes. It's up to the municipality to address address changes. Therefore, I went and looked at the E911 standard for addressing and found out that typically addresses aren't changed if an existing address is present and there's no issues with it. Usually those issues are identified by police, fire, or rescue, and through the E91 board or representative, those individual addresses are addressed and changes can be made. To my knowledge, there hasn't been any issues in the Grover Drive area. And also reading upon the standards, I don't see how my garage qualifies for independent address. It clearly specifies that it has to be an open public, open to the public, which clearly it's not. It's on a private residence, or a occupied dwelling, which it's not occupied by definition. It's a garage that happens to store my tractor and my boat. So I was a little perplexed about that. And then looking further, I requested a public information records request for the email documents telling Bill Sweet that the addresses need to be requested. Well, what I did find is that there was no such request from the E91 board. In fact, Mr. Sweet elicited the disparities in the addresses from the E91 board. And Tyler from the E91 board produced an audit of the disparities, and all those disparities were color coded. I actually spoke with Tyler this morning and expressed my concern in how that the proposed changes aren't necessarily in line with the E91 standard addressing handbook. Tyler agreed with me that my address didn't need to be changed. My garage didn't need to be renumbered. And in fact, none of the addresses on Grover Drive were an issue other than the addresses above the 600 mark. Essentially, the ones that were highlighted in yellow that he provided the audit were recommended not to be changed at all. and that it was never his intention to change two whole neighborhoods. It was his intention to provide guidance to the ones that really needed to be changed because of such a disparity that it may be hard for emergency services to be found. So I guess that's my main concern. And then I guess my second concern is the fact that, several times Mr. Sweet has addressed the board and sent out these letters, essentially indicating that this is a request or the request was at the 911 board. Talking to Tyler, that is completely contrary to what the E91 board purpose is, or what was told to Mr. Sweet, or that was conveyed to Mr. Sweet in an email. So I guess that's what I have to say. My request is for the town, the select board, to rescind these two letters and keep my address at 57 Grover Drive and not have a separate address for a same parcel on my property. And I really wasn't prepared to speak tonight, so I apologize. I don't have all my paperwork or the correspondence that I've had with the E91 board, but I can certainly provide that to the select board to prove that there was inaccuracies and misrepresentations that were prepared and given to the board in support of this decision that was voted upon in the last select board meeting.
Okay, thank you. I did have copies made of your today's letter or today's email to us, so all of the select board members have that. And we're probably looking at it right now. I am. So thank you for your comments. So two things for you. One, don't change any numbers, and don't require that your garage be listed. Am I correct on that?
Are you asking me or are you telling me? I'm sorry.
I'm asking you, did I get it right? Okay.
Yeah, my preference is to have my address remain the same. I can't remember the exact footage, but if I'm not mistaken, I think Tyler told me I was off by 20 feet or something, which is minuscule in the whole 911 mapping system.
Okay. And we can tell that from the chart that Tyler sent down?
Well,
I think we can.
My understanding is that Tyler was going to, Tyler was totally in agreement that my address doesn't need to be changed, shouldn't be changed, and was kind of perplexed at why I was being assigned a new address for a garage that's on my property, because it doesn't meet the threshold of the 911 standard addressing procedures. My understanding after talking to Tyler is that he was a little bit, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but taken back that the letter that was sent out to the residents said it was at the request of the 911 board. And he said that he was going to contact Bill by phone or email and let him know that essentially the only addresses that were really needed to be changed were the addresses in red on the audit that he sent to Bill.
Okay. All right. Any questions from select board members of either the Consulates or Mr. Richardson? Okay. All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate your input. And did you get the documents you requested? Okay.
I did. Thank you.
Okay, good. Does anyone else who's on the Zoom meeting wish to be heard on this particular issue, the E911 address change for Gleason or Grover? Okay, I guess not. So thank you all. Sounds like we're going to be revisiting the issue, and we will, well, watch us. I'm sure you will be. So watch us and we'll be back in touch, or if you don't hear from us, you know where to find us. Okay. Thank you very much for bringing this to our attention.
Thanks for listening to us.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any other questions from the floor on any other issues not otherwise on our agenda for tonight. Okay, so we'll head into the agenda. I will say, scoping out the meeting a little bit at the end, we're going to go through our department head reports and then our action needed reports. At the very end, I will be asking for an executive session so we can meet with our attorney to get some guidance on, well, attorney's advice, possible pending litigation. So let's see if we can get through our department reports and the other things first. Dave Sears, Town Road Commissioner.
That's me.
Yes, it is.
Hey, Mary.
Yes.
We're gonna leave. 'Cause
That's fine. Yes, thank you.
One bit.
Thanks you guys very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, good night, good evening,
Good
everybody.
evening. This is the minutes of the one meeting we were at.
So just a quick recap on the last couple of weeks. We kind of got the post road sidewalk ready for paving, I guess, except
Okay,
I can't find anybody to pave it, so that's a problem. So it's basically usable. People are using it
okay,
from the school up. I did request to the state to get an extension, and they're working on getting another year
okay.
for us. So I haven't heard anything definitive yet, but he said it didn't sound like it's gonna be a problem, so we're good there. Spent quite a bit of time in the last couple of weeks on Post Road chipping trees off the sidewalk.
I saw.
Yeah.
Some,
We have a beaver problem.
Ah.
Yeah. We are actively engaged with said beavers. It's quite apropos that Fred is here because he's a tree warden, and if he could get the beavers to stop cutting the trees down, I would really appreciate it. What is it?
A 12 gauge works one.
That's probably not the right way to go, but. So anyway, we're working on it. And we'll just leave it at that. We started working on prepping the pad last Thursday for the generator, our gift of gifts.
Your
from
new used generator.
our new used generator.
Okay.
And today we did we replaced 55 feet of culvert on Sugarwood Hill. Been babysitting that since spring. I had the measurement came out to a joint, so I think I had the band rotted off or something. And when we pulled it out, there was no bottom in it. We got our money out of it.
Yep.
Didn't owe us anything.
Fully depreciated.
Yep. And we're doing one on Post Road tomorrow.
Okay.
By just south of Lunt Drive, like 40 feet south of Lunt Drive or Lunt Place or whatever it is.
It's not a one-day project.
I hope so. One never knows,
Just
but
gotta plan the driving routes.
yeah, no, we've been in communication with the school, and we're going to work around their bus schedules and all of that. Didn't know if you wanted to talk about that fog line thing, so I put it on my list.
That would be good. Well, I mean, we might just send it to the highway committee to take a look at, but we have received correspondence from Pat Hunter, who's a resident of Rutland Town. And she actually mentioned serving on an ad hoc committee with Byron Hathaway and I was on the same committee, so. And she is advocating for the use of fog lines as a traffic calming method. And, there's some truth to that. When you narrow the travel portion of a highway, cars tend to slow down. And she points to the, she's up around McKinley quite a bit. So she wants us as the town to take a look at using fog lines as traffic calming measures on some of the key roads in town. So I'm not sure we want to debate that tonight without our Joe here, because Joe is on the highway committee as well. So if there's no objection, I'll send this matter to the highway committee.
Take that up next week.
Yes, you're meeting on October 4th, I think. Okay. Is that okay with everyone?
You think maybe David could get some sort of pricing, like per foot
I
pricing or
can,
something?
yeah, I can work on something. I'm not sure who's even doing it now. When I was in my other life, I dealt with that on a regular basis, but, the company that I did a lot of work with, they did a lot of stuff with the state, and I haven't seen them in the last couple of years. So, I know L&D did quite a bit of the like stop bars and stuff like
I
that.
think I
So-
saw them today.
Is it L&D?
It was,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they think they were doing the state stuff, so
we're doing-
I can give them a call. The problem is this is gonna be such a small project. They're either not, nobody's gonna wanna do it, or it's gonna be ridiculously expensive because it's just gonna be, I'm not even sure what we're talking about for Grove Street, but even if it's the length of it, or not, yeah, Grove Street. But even if it's the length of it, it's a few miles. You
Yeah,
know,
it's not a paint.
Well, I'll raise again the fact that we did purchase line striping equipment.
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
And well, we have it. So even if it's, anyway, we're tossing this to the highway committee for a recommendation.
Okay.
And
okay,
I'm sure you'll do a fine job. for
Yeah,
us.
if you can maybe just get some sort of per foot or per mile price or something for, even if it's rough ballpark, just so we know
Yep.
what we're talking.
I'll see what I can come up with.
Okay, thank you.
Unfortunately, we're almost in October, which means the W word and the S word, and yeah, I know, I don't say them, you have to know what I'm talking about, or you don't. So I've already talked to the Hubbards, they're on board. The only changes to the contract this year is, they're not looking for any additional, like, fuel stipend or anything
Okay,
like we did
right.
last year. They did ask if we went from, maybe 43 calls to 40. So 43 was the maximum,
Yeah.
and then after that, they got the
They go
bonus
to the-
money.
Yes.
So they asked to go to 40. We were at 43 calls last year exactly, so we were right there on the cost, so
So you're discussing all of this with the highway committee?
this is all gonna come up on,
Excellent.
so I just keep everybody in the loop.
Appreciate that.
Everybody likes loops. And, this is maybe jumping the gun a little bit, but I did it anyway, so that's the way that goes. I had Steve Benson from Benson Electric doing some electrical stuff for me up there. We had some outlets that didn't work, some lights that
The
were
highway garage?
highway garage, I'm sorry. And he said, well, I guess I'm kind of done. And I went, so we had some fluorescent lights that don't work. And we have one that flickers, and it's just a matter of time before one of us has a seizure. Am I correct, Bill?
Yes.
You know, he's part of the new residents. So I talked to Steve about retrofitting the lighting.
Yeah. Are there
This is part of-
grant funds available?
This is part of that. I'm not sure if this falls into line with that. Thing that Barbara was talking about.
Yes.
We got some grant money for,
Good.
Energy.
but I didn't know if that was just for energy audits or if that's for the actual work to be done. I'm not sure where we are in that process, but
Well, she's on tonight, so we can,
A good question.
yeah, we'll ask when she comes up. So,
so he gave me a quote, to do the whole thing. You can see it's got the Efficiency Vermont rebate already built in, which those used to come direct, or those used to go through Efficiency Vermont and come back to the municipality. Now it's just direct at point of sale. He did some light metering, and some of the numbers are pretty low. There's some dark corners there. It's mostly because they're whatever 8-year-old lights 30 feet off the floor. So
so do you have a pot of money? Because the prebates,
I got to look at my budget. I just got this today, so I haven't really had a lot of time to look at it. But I do have a building maintenance line that we put into the budget last year. So I'm not entirely sure how much is in there, but
okay. Good. Well, thanks for getting the information. So that goes to highway too.
I should have just stayed home. Showing up on Thursday.
Well, we don't want to shortchange either Kurt or Joe. so-
No, I understand.
It's gonna be a long lunchtime.
Yes, it is. So anyway, that's what I've got.
Okay, thank you. And I understand there may be some select board members from the town of Clarendon at your highway committee meeting.
I just heard that, just before this meeting, but
I talked to Cash before
he called me Friday, which we're not on Fridays, so I called him yesterday and he gave me the name of a couple of contractors that he sort of recommends.
Okay.
Wholeheartedly recommends, but sort of.
Okay. All right. Any questions from our highway commissioner? Yeah.
He's
Okay,
trying. I can see it.
Chair,
Fred.
back to the beaver problem.
Yeah,
The beaver there, the water's there, and the food source is there. You can't eliminate the water, you can't eliminate the food source. There's a couple of structures that I designed back when I was working for a living that we had reasonable success with. You will be around in the morning first thing,
I'll be down there first thing.
down the foot of Post Road. Fine first thing.
6:30, 7 o'clock.
I'll be there 6:30.
okay.
Yeah, I was looking at some of those different things online and they get there. I don't know what, this one's a kind of a goofy one. I'm actually probably gonna have to, when we get to the point where the beaver is no longer a problem.
Yep.
Well, the culvert that is plugged is down at the intersection of Post Road and 7.
No,
It's not happening.
no, the one that's plugged is right there by GM, just down from GMP. Well, the driveway for the substation, it's right there. They're plugging where all the trees are coming down. They're plugging that one. And the problem is they pushed all the mud up, so it's probably 6 feet deep on the upstream side of that culvert. So in order to put in like a beaver baffle or something like that, the bottom of the brook is lower than the culvert. So I'm gonna have to fill that in, which means I gotta get a hold of Rivers people. I have to get a hold of Josh and let him give me permission to put some stone or something in there to kind of build that up so we can at least get another culvert in there. Those are my options.
This is my dad used to work for the railroad and he constantly had problems with beavers, so
It's not the first time the beavers have been in.
Yeah.
No, I flushed them out last year and they came back and
Yeah.
actually I got a call from GMP yesterday. He said, "Are you doing anything about that?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they said, "Well, what about the one down by Moore's?" I'm like, "That's not me." And they're like, "Can you do that?" Because like,
all right.
I don't know.
So 6:30 tomorrow morning.
Yep.
Have a good time. If anybody wants to join them, I'm sure they'd be welcome to
Should
have
be
you.
a lot of laughs.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Marcia Chioffi, Town Head Lister. Hi, Marcia.
Hi, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. The last meeting, I think I told you that we had finished 4 very intensive days of data collection and visiting homes to actually do kind of a reappraisal of the properties. We are now in the process of making appointments to visit properties that have listed with us a informational building permit. Several of them, which are the projects are due to be completed by the end of December of 2023. So we hope to get the majority of those projects done. We do have some new builds that probably will not be done before the April 1st of 2024, but we will be revisiting them and get the percent of completion so that we can at least get something on the books. Other than that, we're plugging along. We're cleaning up grand list information and doing the CAMA uploads and information, and everything is going great.
Good. Questions from select board members? Nope. So thank you very much, Marcia, and convey our thanks to the other listers. And
Absolutely. Yep.
we're really
I've got a
grateful
great
you didn't.
group. I'm very, very
Yeah.
happy with both Jack and Marie. They've been absolutely wonderful.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you too.
All righty.
All right.
Yep.
Chris Clark, Town Fire Chief.
Mary, he's on a fire call.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say that doesn't sound like
Still
Chris.
messing
So.
with that.
Okay. Well, if he comes back later. So the next person just happens to be Kari Clark, Town Clerk and Treasurer.
Yes, well, good evening.
Hi.
Hi. Really, I don't have that much to report tonight. It's been a couple of weeks of some slow time, which is great. I'm able to get some things caught up in the office. We did send the signed contract to COTS, and the payment for that contract is in your orders tonight. And I received the scanner this past week. So it looks like we're moving forward. So that's exciting. And really, there's nothing else coming up. We don't have an election coming up, which is great. We will have 3 next year. So, yeah, is there any questions on any of the reports that you saw in front of you?
No, I went through them and I don't have any. I do know that we need to, as a select board, with your input and assistance, determine which way we're going on the conventional borrowing for our public safety building versus the state bond for the public safety building. So
yes,
I guess we probably need to plan a meeting when we discuss that and make a determination, because it's going to take you a little while to get, well, I promised I'd help. So it's going to take us a little while to get an application together for the bond bank, if that's the way we're going, because the deadline is December 15th. I think select board members, in your packet, you should have what John Paul was able to get for us from the contractor, which is a schedule of when the major payments would be made month by month. And and Kari, did you get that as well?
I got that as well. Also, I sent JP a PDF of the bond application. He also extended his assistance for the application. So I know he's on tonight. So he should have a draft of that. If you would like that sent to you too, Mary, I can do that as well.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. And because we now have the schedule of the payments that are likely to be made, do you have, when do we need the money by? I'm guessing sometime in March or April. When are we going to run out of the ARPA money and need to have the loan money in place?
That's when I was thinking as well. I can double check with that on that figure tomorrow. But I was roughly thinking March as well.
Okay. All right, good. So, and if we get our application into the bond bank, if we go in that direction, the money, I think we get approved. We know if we're approved sometime in February is my recollection.
That's right.
So, yeah. Okay, moving along, and we need to put that discussion on a select board agenda in October. Whether it's the next one or the one after that, we need to determine which way we're going to go. So,
yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
Yep, Kurt. No, that's Matt.
That one.
We need to have a special meeting to discuss gathering information. I mean, if we're gonna go to bid for banks to have something to compare, we've got to do that before we can,
Yeah.
decide which way we're going. And maybe it's getting easier to make that decision as rates go up, but
Yeah. We can now, what's your preference? We could meet half an hour early at our next select board meeting. And for this purpose, is that enough time to figure out what we need for information?
When are we gonna have a meeting about the building in general?
That's another question that I have
Should
too.
we just lump that all together and have one night
And maybe do it on
on an off night?
an off
Yeah,
Tuesday. Okay.
off Tuesday or a Monday or a Wednesday or
Okay. So,
Tuesdays are fire trainings.
yeah,
I try not to suck up all my Tuesdays.
okay. So the next select board meeting is October 4th. I'm sorry, October 10th. The third is, well, it's not open because I'm going to Maine, so you guys can meet without me if that's what you want to do. The meeting after that is October 17th. Is that?
16th,
Oh, that's a Tuesday. If you want to move it
a
to
Monday.
the Monday,
Yeah.
we could do that. What works for you, Matt?
the 16th looks good.
Okay.
Yeah.
What time?
5:30.
5:30. Carrie, is
5
that?
o'clock if we have to.
Yeah. How long is the meeting gonna be?
Depends upon who's there, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, 5 o'clock should be fine too, whatever works for.
Okay, 5 or 5:30. Carrie, what does your time look like on October 16th?
I'll make whatever work. We need to have that meeting sooner than later.
We do. And I'm thinking, hearing the request from both people, let's combine it. Let's do the finance piece to figure out what it is that information we need to go to banks to find out what their deals might be, and combine it then with a meeting with JP and the architects and the chiefs if we can, so that we understand a little better what's going into the building.
Let's make it 5 o'clock then.
Okay, so 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock it is. JP, is that doable for you? October 16th at 5 o'clock.
Oh, yes, I can do that. I'd have to check with Ed, but we can have
Right.
a conversation.
Okay, all right, good. So let's set that. We at least need to do the financial part, and because it's all on the public safety building, we should also do the discussion of the innards, I think. That would be a good night to do it. So thank you. And
Sorry,
Bill
guys.
will, no, well, hey. And then we get to move into our budgeting season, which will be lots of fun too. So, okay, Carrie, anything else?
Sorry for my dog, but no, nothing else.
Select board members, any questions of our town clerk and treasurer? Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Okay, thank you very much, Carrie.
Thank you. Good night.
Good
Hi,
night.
Kari.
All right, Mike Delehanty, Town First Constable.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Sorry I was a little late. I was on that same call that Chief Clark was on.
Yeah.
Motor vehicle crash up on Town Line Road.
You didn't miss much.
What's that?
You didn't miss much.
Okay, all right. But great response by the town fire and the state police as well. Just broke the bad news to Dave that there's a guardrail that's gonna need a little love on our side. So showed us some pictures for evidence. No, but no, besides that, we've had some busy nights down at the south end, which I'm sure Chief Dumas is going to tell you about next. But beyond that, I don't have a whole lot to give you.
Okay. Questions? We're coming up on budgeting time. So and this is a reminder to all department heads, start thinking about what next year is going to look like.
Okay.
Yes, we're just barely into this fiscal year, but town meeting comes up quickly and we have to have the budget ready by December to get things moving along. So start thinking about what your piece will look like too, please.
Absolutely.
Okay. Questions, select board members? Okay.
Okay. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate it.
And you folks how are you holding up with all of the calls to the south end?
There's nights so I usually work my nights with Officer Placus, and some nights I don't get home till 1 or 2 in the morning because it just doesn't stop. And the chief will tell you. I mean, some nights it's just wild down there.
All right. Well, thank you for helping out down there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Ed Dumas, speaking of which, town police chief.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So the last 2 weeks, we had 85 calls for service and 21 traffic stops. I did address you about the color codes, and one is state police, one is us. It's the same address, Cortina, but we both responded at the same time this time, 3 calls each. Yes, we have been busy. Officer Placus and Canine Rooster have been instrumental in catching some drugs in the town and done a fantastic job. Couldn't ask for anything more. I know we missed an appointment with his family or something, and ended up working till 2 o'clock in the morning trying to put everything together. So, and VSP was a big help with that. They took part of the case, but he took the majority, and the Fed should step in and take the rest of the drug part of that case. So
They're going to take the credit too.
probably. I try to get them. They help us a lot, especially they work really well with Officer Placus and Canine Rooster. He's been in demand. He's done a really good job. They know each other well. I just seen him work. He's a good dog and a good handler from what I can see so far. Yes.
Well, please thank them, by the way.
What's that?
Rooster may not get it, but
Yeah.
Officer Placus
Throw
probably
him a
will.
biscuit.
Yeah.
Yeah, give him a biscuit.
His ball or whatever he likes to chase. Yeah. Most of the time, if we're working evenings, on the south end, the directed patrols, we're pretty busy. But on Wednesday nights, we've been staying out till things just we're getting ready to sign off and something happens that days in, we're just busy down there constantly. If that many groups, you have that large of a group of people together with the issues that they have, you're going to be busy. Simple as that. I apologize to the people that were not up at the other end of the town, finding people parked next to the power station. Any help you can give us if we have a problem, let us know, and we will,
Please.
we will take care of it as best we can. That's all I have at this point in time.
Okay. Questions of our town police chief? Okay. Are you going to be around for a while?
I am.
Okay, good.
Plan to
Thanks.
stick around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's your birthday.
No, I'm sticking around.
All right, John Paul Faignant, Town Health Officer, Public Safety Building Clerk, and Second Constable.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening, and thank you for getting us that the payout schedule. So we now have a really good idea of when we need to have the money come in. So appreciate that.
Sure. I did check too. There isn't much of a solar opportunity on this building because of the security measures and stuff. You had asked whether or not there might be some basis to pursue a solar grant.
Yeah.
But there isn't.
Okay. Well, that's, even if the answer is no, at least we explored it, which is, I appreciate that.
Right. As far as construction, they're well into developing the site to accept footings. And if you go by, it's really quite a dramatic change from what it looked like just a couple of weeks ago. So everything proceeding, I haven't been advised that there are any issues as we go forward.
Okay. Now, while you're on, Well, let me ask the board. We have received 2 quotes for builder's risk insurance, which we are required under our contract to provide. We went through the League of Cities and Towns. Actually, Kevin Brown did a lot of the groundwork. And we have received 2 bids. And we can either deal with it now and just be done, or wait and talk with our attorney about it. But so what's the feeling of the select board?
Kevin's actually reviewed these, right? In
Yes, he
detail,
has.
so I would just as soon ask him for any additional thoughts he had. It didn't
Okay,
seem like that there was any difference, but I think we should confirm with him and.
okay. All right. That okay with you? We'll wait until Kevin's on.
Yeah, that's fine.
What we'll probably do is take this up once he comes on, but in open session, not executive session, because it's just, I think that's the way to do it. Okay, any questions of our, health officer? Police Chief Dumas was telling me he was just down at the Cortina before this meeting started and encountered a situation. Did he get in touch with you about that?
Did, and I will be sending that information up the chain. As you'll recall, the last time we had a similar incident, I was overruled by the health department, and they taken over direct responsibility for that facility.
Okay, and the what was happening there was sewage in the hallway, and Chief Dumas was walking through it, so he let our town health officer know. So thank you both for getting on top of that, and let us know how the response from the state turns out. I'd be interested to know.
Sure.
Okay, anything else from select board members? If not, thank you very much, JP.
Great, thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Kind of needs a little bit of a heads up. How long do you think you're gonna?
1:15. Yeah, we'll be ready. Okay, Barbara Noyes Pulling, Town Planning Commission Chair. Good evening and welcome.
Yeah, good evening. Think I'll see. Can I ask if Fred Nicholson is still there and if he wants to say anything?
He is. You just woke him up, so.
So give him a couple.
Yes, Barbara, I'm here.
Did you want to go up to the microphone, Fred, or?
No, but I will. That chair I was in was very comfortable.
I am so sorry.
She's not.
Nor are we, but go ahead.
Yes. You all got the handout?
Okay. The known as S100 zoning bylaw revisions.
That would be it.
Okay, and S100 Act 47 Home Act.
That would be.
Okay, what are we looking at?
One more.
We are here to help. This one, and that's from the Rutland Regional Planning Commission. Okay.
So, that is a copy of the presentation that we received at the Regional Planning Commission meeting last Tuesday. And I am not an attorney. I've never played one on TV, so I'm not the person to talk to about this. I did speak with Barbara, and we talked a little bit about it, and she was going to go back to the new kid. I'm sorry, I've forgotten his name.
Logan? Logan Solomon.
Yes, thank you. She was going to go back and speak with him some more to get a little further information. My concern was that while we don't have zoning, we do have ordinances that could be construed to be the same as zoning.
Yeah.
So the language in any of those ordinances will have to match the now definitions supplied by the state of Vermont. And there are some exemptions for 250. There's some language about not discouraging hotels, motels from accepting vouchers for homeless.
Convenient.
It, I talked with Barbara because I told her that I was going to be here tonight and talk just briefly about this. And I didn't want to blindside her because I really think that the Town Planning Commission probably would be the body that would sit down with our future land use map, our ordinances, and go line for line through the act. This that I gave you is a 20,000 foot view of the act. The real act is several pages long and of course legalese, and references other sections of state law, but they're not included in the bill itself. So you're going to have to be chasing law books. And between yesterday and today, I did not have the time to do that.
So major changes potentially to our ordinances and how we approach things.
Yes. And some major exemptions. There's some fuzzy math involved about what constitutes a unit.
Sorry, Fred.
No, go ahead.
So the 20,000 foot level of view is what we started with, and we were looking at towns, municipalities with zoning, and not so much those without zoning. But it looks like with this act that we're going to have to take a close look at how our subdivision ordinance plays into this, as well as there's a lot of language in there about including areas of towns that are served by municipal water and sewer. And served has kind of a broad definition to even include available municipal water and sewer. I think the good news is that the subdivision ordinance is still open. It's still in draft form. We've been working on that for some time, and we're hoping to get some last minute information from Kevin. But it is open. The Act 250 provisions in the act do not apply because to the town, because they only apply to areas that have designated downtowns or village centers, economic development centers, and the like. So we can cross that off, but that looks like there may be a couple other shells that we may have to work into our subdivision ordinance, and they deal with increasing the density for housing and housing development. So the planning commission, the town planning commission, will be glad to take a closer look at those. It's not just us that are slowly rolling this out. There's questions all over the state about how this is going to be applicable to their towns. And even a lot of the burden on explaining this is with the Agency of Commerce and Community Development, ACCD, and they're still combing through this with their own attorneys to answer the questions that are coming up. So even though it went into effect July 1st, I don't think there will be any, high pressure to make sure that municipalities get this stuff done in short order. I guess that's some more good news.
So is the state funding, planning efforts by towns to conform their ordinance? Can we look for some grant money to help out with these?
Yeah, there is some bylaw update money that will be available through this. There's lots of grants that are going to come through this as well, but that's not so much for municipalities. That'd be more for social groups and that sort of thing. But the gist is to make it easier for affordable multi-use housing to be approved by towns across the state.
Yep. Okay, and is there grandfathering provisions? For example, for, you know, if an Act 250 permit exists for a use and the use changes to one of these protected categories like multifamily housing, is that going to be allowed? Or is that an open question?
Yeah, that's probably one that we haven't asked at the Regional Planning Commission yet, but it's a good question to ask.
The way I read it, new construction is exempted. And existing are telling, not knowing.
Okay. All right.
It's kind of a heavy hand.
Yeah.
The bill was introduced in February, veto overrode in June, in effect 1 July.
Yep. Wow. Fast track.
Very fast track.
Okay. Well, thank you both for staying on top of it. And Barbara, I did hear you say the Planning Commission happily is willing to take a look at it. We're really grateful. And here's another one, Planning Commission. So you've got a great group of people, and please convey our thanks for taking on another task.
Sure. That's what we're here for, therefore, wherever we are.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
The only other thing I have before I let Barbara have the floor again is that last Tuesday at the meeting, I was elected by the commissioners chair of the Regional Issues Committee, which deals with Act 250, Section 248, and I believe it's 117 State Planning Act.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as a chair of one of our standing subcommittees, I also have a seat now on the Executive Finance Committee. So
okay.
That's all I have. And the commission has changed a lot in the last 3 years. I had to look all the way around the room to find 2 or 3 people that I still knew.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, just, you know, there's a lot of change that the state is asking the towns to undertake. So I'm really hoping that there are grants and sufficient money coming to help us do those things. Just an observation. Barbara, what else?
Thank you. Shout out to Fred. Thank you. There was not much. The Planning Commission hasn't met in the last couple of weeks, but was there a question about the energy conservation audits that Dave had?
Oh, the LED lights.
For that.
Yes.
For a consultant, not for projects.
Yes.
Okay, so this is about some new lighting in the highway garage to replace the fluorescent overhead lights. And there was a, Dave got a quote, and Efficiency Vermont is providing a rebate of $840, but even with that, the cost would be $8,279. So I'm just wondering if, I know we're proceeding along with the Energy Committee trying to get the next step. And is this anything that would be covered? We've identified an area where we could, you know, change energy use and maybe be more efficient. Can we get money to do that more than just the Efficiency Vermont rebate?
Well, this is for the town garage?
Correct.
Is that part of the MERP audit? Is that one of the buildings that's going to be audited?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
So let's bring it up then to those contractors that'll be doing the audit, and they're looking for all kinds of ways to conserve energy, heat, lighting, all of that, all of the above. I mean, in fact, I think, Bill, you sent some electric information in to apply for the audit. So
okay, when's the audit going to occur? Do we know? Because if we can time it before the highway committee has to make a decision about whether to do this or not.
It will definitely not be before next week.
No, it won't be before next week, but it, you know, if it happens like before
The end of the year.
December
Yeah.
and we can build it into a budget, that would be ideal.
Mostly because it sounds like the lights are on the way out.
Yeah.
So-
And everything. Yeah.
it does. Yeah, the audits are supposed to be done by January, the last time that
Okay.
I was involved with this, so maybe the timing's gonna work out.
Okay. So could we, maybe Bill, could you see when?
They are contacting me when they're ready to schedule them. That's the last I got for it. So
All right.
yes, it is
Nudge time.
moving forward. They are said when we're ready, we will contact you and let you know.
Well, just don't take the blame yourself. Blame it on the cranky select board. We want to know.
Yeah, just
because
give 'em-
we've got
give
a
'em
budget.
nudge.
Yeah.
Give them a little nudge.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Questions for Barbara and the Planning Commission? All quiet here. So thank you very much. And our thanks to the Planning Commission too.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Mike Rowe, Town Recreation Director. Hi, Mike.
Hello. Sharon's doing well.
It was a routine thing. So,
Oh, no,
Yeah.
it's okay. I was chatting with her earlier.
okay.
So the grass is slowing down. That's a good thing. At least the, whatchamacallit grass is not growing anymore. The, crabgrass.
Yes.
That's rearing its ugly head. That's a nice thing to look at. Soccer and flag football games have been on the website and everything started. So if you want to check out a game, Bill has graciously put them on the website. So please do that. I just spoke with Bill and hopefully our online registration and payment for basketball season will be up and running within the week. So people can start
Good.
to look at that. We've moved into the next century. Yay, rah. We'll see how it works. So thanks to Bill and everyone who's helped do that. The signs for the parks and the disc golf are they're in print right now. So for the Dewey and those two signs are being printed and hopefully we'll get them at some point. And then we had some updated signs for our disc golf, which is finished. Just looking for some signs. So that work has been
I
done.
mean, for the back nine.
The back nine.
Okay.
Well, and we have to redo a sign because it's all encompassed. It was just cheaper to do it.
Okay.
The whole sign, which Bill has on the website. They just haven't printed it and put it on the physical billboard that's up there. I got a call from a resident over by Dewey. Someone decided that they could rip the pole out of the ground that has the gate locked to it. So we have addressed that issue. And so people were still trying to get in there, didn't like
Yeah.
it that they had to park in the little front.
Seems like a lot of effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are addressing that. I'm just letting you know, someone did call me last week. So
More concrete.
that's what I told Chuck. I said, I got bags right in the shop. Just pour the concrete in and we good to go. The fields are tilled and ready for spring. You were asking me that about a month ago or a little less than that. And I told you we do that in the fall. So those have been done. And all they'll need is a quick drag and put the bases in. So once we start our spring sports, I let them go over the summer rather than just dragging dust all around all day long. There's really no need to do that. So they just kind of grow and then we retill them each end of the year when the grass is kind of stopped. So then they look beautiful now. So that's my method. If we want me to do something different, then just let me know and I'm game for that. The Halloween party. Bill, I believe the sign is on the website. Yes, the poster I sent you, shared with you.
Sure.
Positive, pretty much, about 99.9%. If not, then that will be the first thing I do when I leave. It is the 27th, Friday the 27th, from 5 to 6 right at school. It's the trick or treat on the trails, and the 7th grade will be coming. They've already started planning for their activities. So
Good.
the only disappointment is we don't have live music this year. Aaron was not available to perform, so it's just the kids in their events in the back. Lots of positive feedback from disc golf. So people are really excited that there's plenty to play.
I had a good time.
And so that's just another part to the park. Our bike trails are moving along. I think mid-October is when he is slated to kind of be finished with that. So those are moving along. I know he got married recently, so I think he took some time off there, rightfully so. And then my only other request is that, or two others. We have one more big event at the park, and that's the Southern Vermont cross-country meet that happens at the end of the year where, I don't know, whatever, 15 schools are at the park, because that's Rutland's kind of home and Rutland Town's home cross-country course within the park.
I've seen the markings.
Yeah, Tom Geisler does that.
Mhm.
And our kids run it from Rutland Town.
Yep.
And anyway, they've been holding the Southern Vermont Valley, whatever that, the SVL or NVL, whatever it is up there. And that's towards the end of October. And then after that, we'll shut off all the water and put everything to bed. And then last but not least, Bill, if we could get the budget sheet sooner rather than later so that some of us that like to plan can really start. I'm just asking if we could have them sooner rather than later.
I'm not the one to produce them.
Oh, well, who does produce them?
Not I, said the.
Oh, if Kari
Okay.
has time, that would be great. I'll shoot her an email and just ask her if she has time.
Now that taxes are in.
Oh, that's
this would
fine.
be
I
an
don't want,
okay
I don't
time.
want to rush, but if there's a chance that, I thought Bill did it. That's why I was putting it on Bill. He was the master of handing out the budget sheets. Other than that,
That's a different request. I do hand them out, but I don't have, on that, she has to change over all the numbers from year to year. So once that's done, then I get back and I do hand them out.
okay. Well, however the system works, if whatever, just so that we have some ample time to plan. And then hopefully you'll give us a directive
On the
on,
salary.
like if we're going up or down, or like last year we were at a freeze. Well, I can't freeze anymore. I'm just letting you know I've frozen for years and level funded for years. So it's gonna increase.
We're gonna have
just throwing that at you.
That's
done
good
my,
to know.
Forewarning,
Okay.
done my darndest to level fund every
Oh,
single
we-
year, and I
we know.
cannot do it anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, be where we're gonna be is what it is.
there's lots that have gone up that out of control. So, but we all know that.
We-
So anyway,
we do.
I just keep that in mind because last year the directive was to level fund.
Well,
I'm just saying.
not all of us.
I understand.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I followed in line with what was asked. So,
I know.
that being said, that's all I have. If you
Okay.
guys have something for me.
Questions for our rec director?
Perfect.
Very good.
Thanks,
Right.
guys. Have a great night.
Thanks. You too. Nifty t-shirts you always come in with, you know?
Kids get them. That's what they wear for like their uniform or whatever.
Yeah. Nice.
So usually I try to promote.
Okay.
Gotta promote the brand and the product, right?
All right. So Kevin Brown's in. Bill, can we go through your things?
Probably.
Yeah, because I don't think there's too much.
No, not too much.
Evening.
Good evening.
All right. There's two things left in your packet that we have not gone through yet. One of them, B, was from the last meeting. There was a discussion on the city's regulation for loud noises, and that is their regulation. And
They still have, oh, I thought it said Sunday prohibitions. It's sundry prohibitions. I thought they still have blue laws in the city, but no.
and in the packet, it's I told you where to find it exactly in there. So
Okay.
it's just, that's that. And then the other one is from Mary, London Dairy's debate short-term rental rule article.
Yeah, I think actually it was, I think Matt flagged it for us, didn't you?
Your local news distributor, yep.
Okay, yeah, good, thank you. So this is information that, does this trigger any requests for something to go on any agenda in the future? Or do you want to mull it over and then? One is about short-term rentals?
The noise, I think, was Joe's question.
I think you're right. All right, so And that's in his
And
packet,
it
so he
probably
has.
will go to a committee. Yes.
Right.
It's a highway problem, don't you?
I think it would be a highway problem, yeah.
And the only other thing I have on your desk is the map of the GE facility. We need to have you vote to, it's on the bottom there, to add Aerospace Place to attachment A of the Town of Rutland Road name and road location addressing ordinance. Just say that. This is, I met with a while ago, I met with the maintenance, security director at GE, about the numbering at their facility and all I know it's a little hard to read because it's a way he wrote it, but, all of the buildings around the facility have to have a unique number, and because they're occupied, because they have phone, like they meet all the definitions, but there's no idea. It was no way to do it off of Windcrest Road, so the most effective way was to create a loop road name for them, and once that's in place, then they will go through and they are all on board. They're very much in favor of this, and there actually was an issue that this would have helped to get somebody help faster. So, so the request is, and I talked to Kevin about how to do this, and we need to make a vote to add that. So attachment A is the list of town road names in our ordinance. So that's adding it to there, and that's adding it as a town private road.
All right. Attachment A is where?
It's the list of town road names. It does not. It's not.
Oh, it is not part of the.
It's not part of the packet. It's just the list of town road names.
All right. So what's your pleasure? You want to take it up tonight or?
So we do that, and then the numbering happens.
We do this, then we have to wait a little bit for it to actually take effect, and then I will get a hold of the security facility, and we'll come up with a date when it will take effect for the numbering. So this just establishes that there is a place that Tyler at the state can actually now use to start assigning numbers to.
And did you say attachment A is private roads?
Attachment A is the list of all town roads in town. It's just every road in town is on attachment A for the ordinance, and this just adds it to that list.
And there's nothing else that's close to Aerospace Place.
Shockingly, there's there's nothing in the county that interferes with. So we did the requisite check and made sure there was no similar names in there where we're not.
And this is no indication that the town is taking over the road, just
Absolutely
that
not.
we are agreeing that it could be named this.
Yes.
Okay, well, I would move that we do that.
Okay, motion's been made.
Second.
And seconded. Discussion. So all in favor of adding Aerospace Place as a private road to attachment A of the Town of Rutland road name and road location addressing ordinance, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Is their fire alarm system gonna dial out different?
No.
So it's gonna come in as the guard check?
Yes. So the guard check will actually become 268 because that is an unnumbered building, which is a problem in and of itself. So that will become 268 Windcrest Road. The plant's gonna be it's gonna stay 270, and then we number the buildings by themselves. So it'll be very clear when there's a call made that it's either the plant or one of the buildings around it. So it'll be very easy to tell. And they have their own internal system of identifying emergency calls inside the plant, but the buildings around it do not. So, Killington is next week having their ribbon / tree cutting ceremony for their municipal road and water project. And they have invited me to go if I'd like to go. Do we want me to go and represent the town up there? Or?
What are you going to cut down, Bill?
I'm not going to cut down anything, but apparently we're going to watch them cut down a tree.
Okay.
But this is to start their substantial municipal road and water project.
It's a biggie for them.
It's a very big project.
It's
Yes.
good for them.
And it is by invitation only. So
Fine.
I I mean, I have plenty of things to do, but I just wasn't sure if we wanted me to go up there, so I certainly can.
No, I think
And
that would be a nice gesture.
okay, I thought so too. And for the meeting in 2 weeks, if you could just hang on to the minutes from
Yeah.
September 12th, so we don't have to
Okay.
make a bunch more copies and send everybody out again, the same things all over again. I'll let Joe and Sharon know also to hang on to theirs, so that way
Okay.
we just keep it for the next time. That's everything I have.
Okay, any questions for Bill? And then we're going to swing into the one item here. Let me just quickly go. We didn't have any committee meetings in the past 2 weeks. Okay. And the project list, well, we're working on the public safety building.
There's actually quite a few things
primarily,
on that
and-
list that are underway.
Yeah.
So
Okay. The Cortina Inn is going to be, that discussion is going to be with our attorney, so hopefully an executive session. We have a meeting set for the financing options and timing for the public safety building, so we've dealt with action needed item B. The public safety building plans, that's going to be at the same meeting. The board to approve the builder's risk insurance policy. So, and this is something we have our attorney on, and we have 2 quotes for builder's risk. Just a reminder that our contract with VMS for the public safety building requires that we provide builder's risk insurance to cover the town's interest in the event that the building is destroyed as it's being constructed. So thank you to Kevin for, I know it was quite a haul trying to get 2 quotes through the Vermont League of Cities and Towns. So we have 2 quotes, and one is from Acadia Insurance, and that is in the amount of, I probably can't find it now.
$9,635
Okay, $9,635.
plus $76.
And then
for
a
the
question
terrorism
about the $76 for the terrorism coverage. And the second quote is from US Assure. And that quote is, yep, that was 12,000. Where's the total amount there?
12,224.
Okay, 12,054.
Yeah, that's Zurich.
And the Zurich, and that includes the terrorism coverage. So Matt had some questions about, and wanted to hear your input, Kevin, about the 2 and any recommendations you may have or any major differences you may have spotted between the 2 policies.
Okay. One difference is the deductible for Acadia is 5,000. Deductible for Zurich is 2,500. There are differences on the various sublimits. In some cases, Zurich is better. In some cases, more cases, Acadia is better. On balance, Acadia is better. I think $2,500, $2,600 cheaper is real money. That's quite a difference in premium, seems to me. Some of the differences are that Zurich has better coverage, are in my mind less important. One is Acadia has $25,000 for fire department service charge. Zurich has $50,000. I guess I don't think we have to worry about our fire department charging the town, so that's not an important one. There's rescaffolding expense or sublimit of $100,000 on Acadia. It's $50,000 in Zurich. It's a single story building, so maybe there's some scaffolding, but it's not a skyscraper, so that sublimit's not particularly important. There's ordinance and law coverage. Sometimes when building codes change and there's been a loss since the time, the building's built, building code changes, there's a loss, and in order to rebuild, you have to comply with new things that cost you money, extra money. That's called ordinance and law coverage. And In the Zurich or the Acadia policy, it's 250,000. In the Zurich policy, it's $1 million, but it's kind of unimportant here. It is unimportant here because this is a builder's risk policy. It's going to be in place for a little over a year. The odds that there's some massive change in code and ordinance that would increase cost on rebuild is theoretical only. So I don't think that's an important difference. Let's see, temporary locations, stuff stored in temporary locations is not going to be the fire trucks. But if it was building materials, there's better coverage, almost twice the coverage under Acadia. Property in transit, so if stuff the contractor's already paid for get lost in transit. $500,000 coverage for Acadia, not quite, little 257,000 for Zurich. So again, it's better. There's reward coverage, $10,000 for Acadia, 25 for Zurich. So on balance, Acadia has the better of the sub limits. I think that at least the ones that matter. Pollution cleanup is 100,000 for Acadia, 50 versus 50 for Zurich. So it didn't seem to me that there were any differences, important differences to justify the $2,600 differential. The terrorism coverage, it's tied up with federal law. If the U.S. Department, I think it's Treasury, state decrees that an act was a terrorist act, there's federal money for that. Maybe it's kind of like FEMA money. So, whether it's worth another $76, I guess is up to you. It's pretty limited exposure here. So if the building's destroyed by a terrorist act, and you don't have the coverage, that's a problem. But it's really lightning insurance.
What's your pleasure?
I move that we adopt approve the Acadia policy and authorize you as chair to sign anything that's got to be signed.
That with the terrorism policy?
With the terrorism policy.
Second.
Acadia, and that's the lower bidder?
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve and accept the builder's risk insurance coverage with Acadia and authorize me to sign on behalf of the town. Any further discussion? Sure I've got the right one. If not,
That includes the terrorism policy.
including the
$76
terrorist
for yours.
coverage.
Just for $76, you might as well cover your butt.
Yeah. Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Right.
Aye. Anyone? No, I guess no one's opposed. So motion carries. And I will sign on behalf of the town.
We'll do that tomorrow. I will get whatever I need from Vicky if I don't already have it and get it to you so that you can sign off. And I think if we get it to Vicky Aber at the league, she'll get it on to Acadia.
Okay. Okay, so Bill, that's going in. The signed version is, I'm also tucking the original in the green folder, which is no longer pink. So there you are. Okay, so I don't think we had anything else in open session for our town attorney, but is there a motion to visit with our town attorney to get the benefit of legal advice and also pending negotiations?
Before we do that, I'm wondering if Mr. Marsh has.
Oh, sorry, Jim. Are you here for any particular reason?
Just a whine about the traffic on Barrett Hill Road again.
Okay, come on up.
Make a big deal about this.
You don't want to wait around till the end of executive
No, you
session.
don't. No.
I just would like to remind everybody that the traffic on Barrett Hill Road can get
rather speedy and loud.
Mhm.
And with the advent of the construction on College of St. Joe, that's going to add to it. And the other thing is just to maybe think about bugging the city about putting the stoplight back out at on Route 4.
Yes.
Because that's going to be a problem. I think I don't believe they're going to have 100 units, but that's what one builder wanted to put out
That
there.
is a really good.
So-
That's a horrible place to go. I use that road a lot to come out. That's really bad.
That's all I was
Okay.
just.
Okay, so our chief
you.
of police is here. And, okay, I think we'll maybe see a few cruisers down that way. Okay, thank you. Is there any motion? And you can't adjourn, so.
Well, we could.
Good.
Move. We go into executive session with our attorney for counsel.
Okay,
Second.
motion's been made and seconded. Do we want to include anybody in the executive session?
Ed.
And with our police chief?
Yeah.
Okay,
Lucky guy he is.
yeah, I know. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll clear the room except for the chief and then go into executive session. On the record, is there a motion? Oh. Concerning negotiations with the Cortina Inn, we do wish to appoint a negotiating team. And I would propose and would entertain a motion to appoint Matt Getty and Mary Ashcroft for that negotiating team with the Cortina.
Guess I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I have to second myself. for
Yeah,
this.
you do.
Yeah, in this instance, yeah.
Okay, motion's made and
I need these
seconded.
other folks.
Discussion.
No.
If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Announcement that we will be having a police committee meeting on, oh God, what day did we set?
6 at
Friday, October 6th at 11 o'clock to start working on the budget with our police department chief and deputy, if the deputy is available. And is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
All right.
Aye. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you all very much.